in the Cold War of TV stardom compromise is the name of the game. It's the money or the gun that drives you on, the money or the gun. Bank cards, your plastic explosive, your checkbooks are Colt 45. You overspend, and it's the end. You can't afford to stay alive. It's the money or the gun that drives you on. Choose now, the money or the
Good evening. You know, Australia's current economic position may be that of a fiscal turd flushed halfway down the U-trap of recession, but there's still one industry where it's possible to live like a king and retire when you're 30. It's an industry which traditionally draws young people like a magnet, with its high-profile, carefully marketed image of glamour, power and fun. Throughout the 80s, it's boomed across this nation to a point where constantly, it seems, on radio and television, we hear its incessant tunes and empty lyrics. Most important, it's an industry that holds out the promise of quick bucks and an easy life. That industry is banking. And the similarity it bears to rock and roll, the subject of tonight's program, is obvious. If you want to make it in the Australian rock and roll industry, you have to be prepared to mortgage your career to managers, to publicists, to booking agents, record companies and lawyers, in the hope that one day you'll be successful enough to buy it back and call it your own. But let's start at the beginning, shall we? And hang around, there's plenty more cliches where that came from. And childhood, where the first signs of the future rock and roller begin to emerge.
We had no inkling that Jimmy might go into rock and roll before his 7th birthday party.
The wee little lad drank 3 bottles of scotch and then he raced off his Auntie Arlene.
And drowned her in his own vomit.
And then he trashed his room.
For a time.
That damage bill was enormous.
That's when we decided to get him a manager.
It was either that or have it put down.
Forming a garage band is usually the first step on the rock and roll ladder. In fact, it's almost essential if you're to have any credibility at all when they rush out your cheaply printed, cliche-riddled biography at the age of 23. Many famous bands have begun in garages, including the Cars, the Radiators and the Commodores. This previously unseen home movie footage is of Australia's most famous musical twins rehearsing in their parents' garage at the age of just 15. Today, of course, the exploits of Trevor and Ben Widgery, better known now as Peter Garrett and Angry Anderson, are part of our folklore. And who's to say how Australian music would have turned out if their parents hadn't subjected them to cruel and unusual cobalt ray therapy, forcing them to flee home and change their identities. We can only... Could we turn it off, please? Thank you very much. Forming a band is often the easiest part of rock and roll. Finding a name for it is much harder. Australia's had a history of great band names. Melbourne's People with Deck Chairs Up Their Noses, the Sydney group Jeffrey Hysterectomy, the New South Wales all-girls group Jill Ran, and my personal favourite, the Darwin Ska Bossa Nova crossover combo, I Was a Teenage Fungal Infection. The important thing is to use your imagination and remember one basic rule. Come up with the band name first, think of a reason for it second. One person who knows this better than most is the host of SBS's show The Noise, Annette Chunwar. Annette.
Hi, Andrew.
Wonderful to see you.
Thank you.
Your particular favourite band name at the moment is?
Well, I think it would have to be an English band called the Pooh Sticks.
Yes, of course, the Pooh Sticks. One of my favourites.
Ring to it.
Ring to it. I'm very glad you said that. Another band that you've always admired is the Lucky Dinosaurs.
Well, yes, they were around a few years ago when toy dinosaurs were all the rage. And, when I interviewed them, I wondered if that was why they called themselves the Lucky Dinosaurs.
So what we're about to see now is a real interview with a real band from the Noise.
A real ex-band.
Really?
This is Lee Cameron from the Lucky Dinosaurs.
I think we're about to find out why they're ex.
Now, we're surrounded with you with some old friends today, some nice dinosaurs and so forth. And I don't usually ask people about the names of their bands because most people choose them just for something that people will remember. But is there a story to Lucky Dinosaurs?
Yeah, well, I think we gave it a lot of thought at the beginning, and Peter, the drummer, came up with a name, and it was more or less two words together, and I was all for lucky, because lucky is a really nice word, has a nice sound, and it means a lot to me because I think I'm a particularly lucky person. And dinosaurs mean a lot of different things in so much as they've really got nothing to do with humans whatsoever. And anybody that talks about them or learns about them can only make an educated guess anyway, so it's nice.
I bet you're glad you asked that question.
Am I? I think they went the way of their namesakes, though.
Dinosaurs? I wonder why. Annette, thank you very much for coming in. Before you go, do you want to blatantly plug your show?
Oh, yes, it's a show called Eat Carpet. Don't ask me why it's called Eat Carpet, but it's a wonderful program every Friday night on SBS television.
And that's where you can see Annette Shunmore. Thank you very much.
See you later.
Bye-bye. Ciao, darling.
Ciao.
Mwah. Well, there you go, a traditional way of naming a band. Another technique you can use if your imagination is addled is to open a newspaper and stick in a pin.
Watch it, asshole!
Right! Mate, all right! Yeah, that's it!
And so Struth, Watch It Asshole was born, and do yourself a favour, go out and buy this album, it's fabulous. Well, while naming a band is pretty important, as of course is its music, nothing is more important than a band's image. There are any number of images you can try, depending on how much ridicule you can stand and how much you can afford, because after all, costs can be fairly prohibitive, can't they, Gavin?
That's right, Andrew. The price of looking good or bad can be pretty high. This dress, nearly $5,000 at Target, and it's useless around the home. This unique and stupid guitar, $25,000, with the prosthetic limbs required to play it properly, running into millions. This designer leather outfit costs thousands of dollars. Handlers to help put it on weren't cheap either. Each of these tattoos cost hundreds to apply, not to mention the high mental cost of embarrassment later in life. Worse, they cost thousands to remove. Makeup, stage costumes and gel can set you back several $1,000s. By the way, the girls were expensive too. Special props like 2 pairs of matching Dork brand spectacles, $529. While publicity photos vary from $100 to $10,000, depending on the photographer. The difficulty of the shoot, how bad you look normally, and the stupidity of your image in the first place.
Thanks, Gav. What a cool dude. And of course, the costs don't stop there. If you're a new band, other items you may want to invest in include leather gear, a bullet belt, spurs, school uniforms, a custom-made pointy-shaped guitar, custom-made pointy-shaped plectrums, makeup, gel, platform shoes, haircut, tattoos, sequin jumpsuit, a duck, publicity photos, Coke mirror, Coke habit, Rolls-Royce and swimming pool and Rolls-Royce, facelift, sex change, entire blood transfusion, padded underwear, another duck, depilation, duck cage, duck food, duck keeper, duck trainee, and leather gear for ducks. And one man who's tried all those things at some stage of his career and indeed still uses some for purely recreational purposes is the former lead singer of the outrageous group Jimmy and the Boys. Will you please welcome to our show Mr. Ignatious Jones? Ignatious. So wonderful to be here. Oh, look, it's great to see you. It really is. Make yourself at home. Make yourself at home.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Not the globe. just not the pot plant, because if you... Rock and roll!
I like that.
Sorry. Iggy, come and sit down. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. You wouldn't have any quaaludes by any chance?
No, you took them all before the show.
Right, thank you.
Sorry. Ignatius, why are rock and rollers so violent?
Well, Andrew, it's rage.
Rage?
Rage at having been born so dull, moronic, and stupid.
Well, actually, that's image. I mean, you're a man that's seen a lot. What's so important about band image?
Well, I think it's very important to stop thinking of rock and roll as art. It's not.
I don't think I ever did, but anyway.
It's show business. You've got to know how to put on a show, and you've got to know how to run a business. Think of it this way. Think of modern pop music as something like the Bondi sewage outflow. A lot of very badly processed crap, endlessly flowing out, thousands of heedless young people swimming in it every day. Talent has nothing to do with success, as Kylie and Jason have proved. Unless, of course, it's a talent to be noticed. And here, it helps to be different, but not too different. You see, if you're appalling, mediocre, shithouse in a completely new way, a lot of people will think you're a genius.
Thank you, thank you.
Especially rock journalists. If you want to be a millionaire, you need those two magic words.
Oh, yes, I know them well.
Sex and violence.
Oh, I had another two in mind. Anyway, sex and violence, yes. Well, where do they come into it?
Well, if you think of rock music as a marketing exercise, sex and violence are the two #1 marketing tools you can have. They don't need very much intelligence to portray, and they don't need very much intelligence to understand. That's why there are so many stupid, ugly, brutal people making millions of dollars out of heavy metal, and so many vapid, stupid, beautiful people at the top of the pop charts.
I'm glad to see you've thought about this a bit, Iggy. I'm very pleased.
I have. I'm older now.
Yes. You are older, but are you wiser? With Jimmy and the Boys, let's look at some of your work with Jimmy and the Boys,
Must
shall
we?
we? Because, well, I think we must, actually. First of all, we have some photos here of your early days. This was you with a skin condition, wasn't
Where
it?
did you get that?
Yes. Well,
It's a baby photo. That's me at school, at the receptionist center.
Oh, that's true. Yes. Your parents went straight to the leper colony after this was taken, I presume.
Can you get rid of that?
Well, no, I mean, what... yes. Now, this was you in your romantic period, wasn't it?
That's true. Actually, I'm on stage at the time, and I'm worried about whether or not the deodorant is working. As you can see, I've had a little bit of trouble with the lipstick.
Now, this
that's nice.
Yes,
Yeah.
this is a ballad, I think, isn't it? Well, not only have we got some photographs of your past career, but we've dug deep and got footage. This is just like Countdown Now. And we actually have some footage of Jimmy and the Boys. If you're under the age of 16,
Mom, if you're
turn
watching,
away.
Turn off now.
Baby's on fire. I gotta throw her in the water. Oh, look at her laughing.
Burning babies. I mean, that's pretty heavy stuff. Is this... I can see symbolism in it, sure. I mean, I can see what you're trying to say is architecture is wrong. But what are you trying to say?
That's it.
I've hit the nail on the
wrong.
head. Yes, yes. Rock and roll is a bit like that, isn't it? Well, we have some more, and this is...
Particularly deep.
particularly ugly, yes, yes. Can we roll this?